Virgo, this is your January 2016 forecast. I'm going to have a look at what's coming up for you and what you'll be working with via the astrology. So at the beginning of the month here, Pluto and the Sun start to conjunct each other in your 5th house of romance and children in the sign of Capricorn. Now Pluto represents change, it represents death and rebirth, and it's new energy. The Sun is your identity and how you see yourself. So really there's a shift, there's an alteration to how you behave, how you act, and how you work at these areas of your life. And you really step out of yourself and you look at things again. You really kind of become an objective observer of yourself in those situations. And you know, whether your romantic life is going really well, you'll look at it. If it's not going well, you'll look at it as well. And you'll see what you can do differently. So it's not about saying, oh, you know, I don't have anyone in my life, I'm so depressed. It's about, okay, I don't have anyone in my life. What can I do differently to make that happen? So you're not going to be feeling maudlin. You're going to be feeling very earthy, very practical, and very much focused on putting in the effort to make things better. That same thing applies to your children. If the relationship isn't wonderful, you're not going to say, oh, my kids hate me. You're going to say, what can I do differently to change that situation for the better? Those two are together, they move nearer to each other, and by the 6th of January, they're in the same position at 15 degrees. That's when it's going to be strongest. And then they move away from each other until the 17th of January. That's when that relationship ends and stops. Okay. The fact that it's in Capricorn means that it's very much a diligent, practical energy, and you'll feel that within yourself. You'll look at yourself and not be prideful. I think you'll be quite humble at the beginning of this month and say, really, how can I be better at this? On the 2nd of January, Mercury goes into Aquarius, and that's in your 6th house. Now, Mercury is the planet of communication. It's also your ruler, so it's important what it does. And in Aquarius, it is much more outward looking. It's inspirational. It's looking at exploring new ideas. And because that moves into your 6th house, you're looking at how to optimize your day-to-day routine and how to make things better in a practical way. The best time for that is the 2nd of January. So if you have the ability to make changes to your schedule, schedule that for the 2nd of January. On the 3rd of January, there's a T-square in the chart which appears between your Ascendant in Aries, the Moon and Mars in your 2nd house in Libra, and it culminates with that Mercury in the 6th. So there may be a shift, there may be a push from your external environment that wants you to do certain things. So if you're self-employed, you may have loads of appointments that force you to work 7 days a week, or you may have 0 appointments that force you to not have any work at all. That's going to be an impact. That's going to make an impact on you. And on the other side of things, you're going to feel a strong drive to make things right for other people. So you're not going to be focusing so much on yourself. So again, going back to that scheduling example, you're going to say, oh, okay, well, I'll work 7 days a week. It doesn't matter as long as the people I'm working with are happy. The way to move forward is not just be a pushover completely and to let go of all of your boundaries and just do what other people want. It's about thinking clearly on how you can maintain a positive schedule and how you can perfect that. The 3rd of January will be very helpful in helping you achieve that. On the 4th of January, Mars goes into Scorpio in your 3rd house. Mars is the soldier, it's desire, it's what you want and what you want to achieve and what you feel strongly about. It conjuncts the Moon there in your 3rd house, and you're going to feel very intense and very driven to express yourself honestly and openly, to be very sincere and to speak your mind. Now again, be careful around what context you do that in. My experience has been that most people don't really want to hear the truth, especially when it's criticism. They want to hear what they want to hear, and that's not welcomed. I also get that there's a sense of aggression and a little bit of, you know, force involved with this with you, and you might come across a little bit too much. So especially around the 4th, have a think of whether it's really, really necessary and whether it will have any benefit if you speak the truth, or whether you're just blowing off steam and whether you're just taking out your anger on someone else. On the 6th, Mercury goes retrograde in your 6th house. Now again, it's your ruler, not the best thing, when Mercury retrogrades, you have to find different ways of communication, different ways of getting your point across, and you have to look at alternate ways of doing that. In your 6th house, again, it's a scheduling thing for you. It's a day-to-day routine. It's the way your life looks. It may be that your routine, the way you would ideally like it to be, gets a little bit out of your control, and you have to work extra hard at that. So keep a close eye on what's coming up, when you're scheduled to be where, and that you can meet those obligations. Neptune sextiles your rising sign, which is now in Taurus, also on the 6th of January. And Neptune and Chiron are in your 7th house of romance and relationship. So you're feeling quite foggy, quite vague about relationships. You're dreaming the dream of, like, you know, the ideal relationship, what can really happen. And the good thing is that when it connects with that rising sign in Taurus, it means there's real potential for you to get very, very lucky on this day when it comes to relationship, if you go out there and if you take practical action. So sometimes you'll go out, you know, and you think, oh, maybe I'll meet someone, and then you sit there by yourself and no one shows up and you get really lonely and depressed. If you do that on the 6th of January with the intention of meeting someone nice, and you go somewhere, it's very likely that you'll achieve that, because you've got the rising sign in your 9th there in Taurus, encouraging that. And then you've also got Jupiter on the other side of the chart in your sign of Virgo, saying take practical action, be yourself, put yourself out there, and that'll have a positive impact. So in terms of romance and new relationships, the 6th of January is the best so far. On the 8th of January, Jupiter and the North Node start to square the Moon. And Jupiter and the North Node are in your 1st house of self. So the whole month, Virgo, you're going to feel very much at ease in terms of what you're achieving, the action you're putting in. And I think you feel less conflicted than other people, because things are actually going your way. So the schedule might not be right exactly, so the details, but the actual, you know, the actual fundamental direction that you're going in is going to be really, really good. The Moon is in the 4th in Sagittarius, and when that connects with Jupiter, it means that on the 8th of January, it's a great opportunity to look at where you're heading in future with your closest relationships. What's going to happen? And you'll get an insight around that on the 8th of January. You know, this partner that I'm with, do I want to give them the key so they can have access to my apartment? Or do I really want to make this more permanent? Do I love this person? Do I want to deepen the relationship, or do I want to step back? It can go either way, but the good luck and the good fortune is that you'll make the right decision, so you can trust yourself and you can trust what you're contemplating. Mercury goes into Capricorn on the 9th of January. It's still in retrograde, so it moves back into the 5th house. And you've got a lot going on in the 5th house now. You've got the Moon, you've got Pluto, you've got your midheaven, you've got your Sun, you've got Mercury, all in Capricorn in your 5th house of romance and children. So communication might be a little bit more stifled. I think that's not necessarily a bad thing. You will be thinking of, how can I come across best? How can I work at making my relationships better? What can I do about myself that's different? And what is it I really feel? And how do I really love someone else? So it's quite a genuine, honest, humbling kind of experience for you, because you're going to get real with yourself about your own feelings. And you're going to acknowledge those feelings and then take action on them. You know, so if you're in a relationship and you know it's not going anywhere, it's just like it's like a booty call or whatever, and it's been like that for months and months, you'll recognize and you'll say, you know, am I happy with that, or do I want a genuine relationship? And that's really powerful, because that takes honesty and that takes humility for you to move forward. The new moon happens in Capricorn on the 10th of January, and again, that's in your 5th house, so it pulls that sober, ambitious, driven, and hard-working energy into your life, and the decisions you make around the new moon about how to make your romantic relationships better will have a positive impact on you in future. Now, that's the strongest energy until the 13th of January. On the 13th, there's a grand trine in your chart, and that connects all of these practical aspects together, and this is really positive. So your sense of well-being, being comfortable in your own skin, and making good progress in your relationship life, that will urge you to kind of explore in a physical, practical sense. Between the 13th and the 21st of January, when this Grand Trine is in effect, it's the ideal time for you to go traveling, to explore a new place on a physical realm, not metaphysical, not spirit. Go somewhere between the 13th and 21st. So I guess if you're asking me what the best dates are to travel, it's those. And if you can't go anywhere, then, you know, there's a weekend in between that. Go somewhere on the weekend. Maybe go for a day trip out, something like that. There's a T-square that's happening on the 15th, and that's between Jupiter and Chiron. And that peaks with Venus there in Sagittarius, so that's nice as well. So what that says is you do feel comfortable in your own skin. You become aware of disappointments in the past. Something raises its head that really reminds you of something that didn't work out for you in life earlier, especially when it comes to your relationships. So maybe you were rejected, or maybe you were cheated on. And by focusing on and continuing to ask yourself the questions is, do I love this person? You can let go of those reservations. Okay, so if I'm in a new relationship with someone and the last two boyfriends cheated on me, then I meet someone new and I'm head over heels. I'm going to be a little bit wary about this new person cheating on me because it's happened twice already. The guidance here is that if you love this person, you can move forward with it, and you won't let those past experiences hold you back. Because a lot of people in that situation will say, okay, I've been cheated on twice. I'm not going to trust this person, this new person at all. From the get-go, I'm going to check their text messages, I'm going to go through their drawers, I'm going to go through their pockets, and that can often ruin the relationship because of things that happened in the past. So the way forward is to start fresh, let go, and to trust again, try again. Mars opposes the Moon on the 17th. And your Mars is in your third house, that desire to express yourself quite forcefully. And let me just check how long that's there, actually. I think it's there all month. Yeah, it moved into your first house at the beginning of January, and it sits there all month. Okay, so where am I? I'm here on the 17th. It starts to oppose the Moon. And the best way to manage this is to channel your energy into actually moving physically, not moving house, although you could. If you are moving house on this day, move. Or if you are moving in January, move on the 17th. But if you're just feeling a little bit restless and irritable, and the way to manage that energy, rather than telling this person who has always irritated you, say, that's it, today's the day I'm going to tell you that I just hate you. Don't do that. Go on a trip. Channel that angry energy into exploring something new. It'll be much more productive for you. Now, that's really strong until the 20th, which sees another T-square occur, and that's between, where are we? Saturn and the Moon, and that culminates in Chiron. So Saturn's in your fourth house. Family life, and you know, if home is where the heart is, knowing your own feelings, knowing who you love, that's your biggest strength. You really are clear on your own feelings. That connects with all the things that are going on at work at the moment, all of the movement and schedule. It's going to be quite a frantic month, and it's going to be particularly frantic here around the 20th. There'll be a lot going on, but that culminates if you think about how far you've come, first of all, Virgo, how well you get on with people that you didn't get on well with in the past, how good your work is going compared to how it went in the past. I think that's the way to diffuse the frantic kind of energy that you'll feel on the 20th, because you'll be pushed, or you'll feel pushed and pulled between work and family. It might be that someone needs you on this day, but really, okay, I know this sounds really vague, but if you give into a place of gratitude and you say, I'm really thankful for the great people I have in my life, I'm grateful for the good job that I have in my life, I've got two things going on here, which one should I choose? By being grateful and getting in touch with your true self, you'll see what's more urgent and pressing, and then you can choose if you have to. So I think there will be something like that on the 20th. On the 21st, the sun goes into Aquarius in your 6th, and you become much more focused on new ideas, new inspirations, new thoughts, and I think this is when the scheduling thing gets worked out for you, and you're able to really get a handle and a grip on that. And again, this is a good thing. I think you're actually going to be really busy in January. On the 22nd, there's a new grand trine that occurs for this one day only, and that's in water. And you're gonna something that was painful in the past is going to rear its head. It's going to tell you why you can't go around being angry and telling people off all the time. So you've been feeling a little bit frustrated in certain things with Mars and Scorpio there, and you've been very clear on expressing those intense feelings. And sometimes, you know, we're in a certain mindset and in a kind of frame of mind and thinking we're right, but then something will appear, and that'll really kind of make us eat our words or really see things differently. Like for instance, if you're complaining about the fact that you only got 5 presents for Christmas and it was such a crap Christmas and no one loves me, and then you see an ad for an old person or something who hasn't spoken to someone in a month and they were all alone at Christmas, it just kind of makes you think, God, I'm such an ungrateful little shit, you know? So that's the kind of thing that kind of comes in on the 22nd. So be careful around the beginning of the month and the whole month of January that you don't kind of become too grumpy or entitled or any of those things, that when the 22nd comes around you have to eat your words. So be a little bit humble when it comes to expressing your views and opinions. Venus goes into Capricorn on the 24th. That's in your 5th. So again, very diligent and very kind of sober and humble when it comes to romantic situations and your children. That's really, it's a push and pull. You're really kind of, your head's in the right place in those kind of relationships. And that doesn't interact with that Mars at all, which is in your 3rd house. And it comes to your feelings. I think you feel things very strongly this month, and it will be like the only way I can let this out is if I express it. But the truth is, spirituality and speaking to other people about how you really feel and how you're honest, that's going to take the sting out of that. That's going to take the edge off. So get really honest with people. On the 24th as well is the full moon in Leo. And the full moon is in your 12th house of spirituality. So the way that the sun, the thing that's actually shining its light on it, is in Aquarius. So it's about new ideas, new ways of seeing yourself that put you in a positive light, that really connect you with your higher self, with your kind, genuine self, and you really feel like you're doing the right things. So this is a very interesting month for you, Virgo, because you really get down to the truth of the matter and you work hard. There's a T-square between Neptune and the moon, which culminates in the rising sign in Gemini. And this is another day when you feel very much comfortable in your own skin. You connect with your dreams that you have for relationships, and you work well at those. So this is another very good day, oddly, for both romance and work. By applying yourself, you feel there's something about you. You've got an air of ease and comfort about you, which is attractive to other people, which is why this is a good day for you. On the 27th, the moon conjuncts Jupiter and the North Node there in your 1st house, and this is really the luckiest day of the month for you. I think whatever you put your hand to, really you avoid any sort of disappointment. Things work out very well. Again, work and romance is very, very positive. So whatever your focus is, you really have a choice on what you want to work on. On the 29th of January, there's another grand trine in the chart, and that's in air this time. So really, really good for creating order and structure in your daily routine and your working life. You will also get some positive news in terms of your finances, something that makes you feel very positive towards the other people in your life and towards your job. And it's as a result of your good ideas and being diligent when it comes to your working life and expressing yourself well. The month ends with the moon conjuncting Mars, and that's in your 3rd house. So again, this is another day when you feel very, very certain about your views and opinions. Really double check and triple check before you tell someone off, or you tell them that you don't appreciate the way they do things. Not good. So those are the energies coming up for you in January, Virgo. If you'd like a private reading with me about your career or your romantic life or the way you feel about yourself, then please get in touch via the website. It's gregoryscott.com. Click on the readings tab and you'll see the types of readings that I offer. And if you want to find me on Facebook, I'm there as well. Facebook.com/GregoryScott444. Please remember to subscribe to the channel, and I'll speak to you next month for the monthly forecast and tomorrow for the daily tarot forecast.